This piece of glass had been sitting in my shop, left over from a previous build for a few weeks now, so I decided to put it to some good use. But it turned out this piece of glass was as fragile as my frame of mind. My blundering buffoonery turned this one piece into many. To give you a frame of reference, this fumbling faux pas happened out of frame. Perhaps I was too fixated on trying to frame up the shot, or maybe it's because of the short time frame I had. But there's no point in trying to reframe the past, so join me on this journey as I try to reframe the narrative in this week's build. Because my name's Danny, and I make boxes. I found myself with a little extra time on my hands, so I decided not to waste it, standing around like some sort of NPC, waiting for someone to help me find my lost chickens. I had a bit of scrap wood left over, and I thought it was time to build a picture frame. Now, I've seen many videos on making frames, so naturally I consider myself an expert in this subject. All you need is some scrap wood and an assload of confidence. I happen to have a bit of scrap wood, and my confidence was bursting at the seams. Kinda like Violet when she turned into a blueberry after she ate that chewing gum. Now, scrap wood that has been sitting for a while can be as crooked as Forrest Gump's back, so we need to make everything flat, like that 2 liter of soda that's been sitting in the back of your fridge for 3 weeks. Now that our scrap wood is straight and true, we need to cut some grooves. This is easily accomplished on a router table or with a dado stack. Well, my router table needs some work, and I don't have a dado stack. So I make multiple passes with a single blade. This method is effective, but it eats a lot of time, much like Augustus Gloop shoveling bratwurst and sauerkraut into his face. Now the idea here is to cut some grooves into a single strip, then cut that strip into 4 pieces and you're sorted. This is a sound plan, and when executed properly, it's an effective way to make a frame. But when carried out poorly, it wastes time and materials, and yours truly did the latter. For one is never fully prepared for when dyslexia decides to rear its ugly head. Which reminds me of a joke. A dyslexic guy walks into a bra. So, successfully having wasted some more time, I set out to fix my mistakes, as I have done many times in the past. But for your viewing pleasure, I won't make you sit through all that. However, you are more than welcome to rewind and watch again if you want the full experience. So, this entire project hinged around this piece of glass. And Captain Can't Hold a Thing over here dropped it like he was Dr. Dre, dropping a sick beat for the D.O.G.G, slim with the tilted brim. But the glass is not needed until the very end of this project, so that's going to be future Danny's problem. And we can move on with the glue up. When the dust settles and the glue is dry, we have ourselves a frame. But as it stands now, the joints in our frame are frail and weak like Screech. We need them to be strong and sturdy like A.C. Slater. So splines are needed to reinforce the joints. There's more than one way to skin a cat when it comes to splines, but I'll let the cat out of the bag and tell you this is the simplest one. Sure, it may look a little dangerous, and you might be more nervous than a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs when it comes to attempting it, but you really can't swing a dead cat around the shop without hitting something that looks a little dangerous. Besides, when you see how easy this method is, you will agree it's the cat's pajamas. With our splines inserted, we just need to trim off the edges. But something is missing. Right now our frame is kinda like Marla Hooch, and we need it to be more like Dottie Hinson. Or at the very least, Dottie's sister. So, let's put the skirt in the dirt. You may have noticed a common theme in this video. With a little extra time on my head, it eats a lot of time. Waits time, some more time, for a short time frame I had. Time. Time is the one thing we can't get back. So, if you spend it doing something meaningful, then it's time well spent. Every hour you spend doing something you love is an hour that gives something back. After it's all said and done, you haven't lost any time. You simply traded it and got something special in return. In the end, time isn't measured by how much you had, but by how you spent it. Well, look at that. It was me. Thanks for watching.